If you could ever hop on a car, take a train, or even just walk on your way to another planet, walking there could take around 5,130 years. A rocket could take around 7 months to reach Mars. Can you imagine waiting 28 years for a plane to land on Mars? Huge, and even with the fastest technology we have, the distance are mind-blowing. But it all starts here, on our small blue planet Earth. Earth, our home planet, a tiny blue dot in the vast cosmic ocean. It's here where everyone you have ever known live their lives, and where every human story has been told. But imagine this, if you could ever hop on a car, take a train, or even just walk on your way to another planet. Sounds impossible, right? But let's break it down. How long it would take to travel to Moon, Mars, or even Neptune using our daily modes of transport like walking, driving, or flying? Spoiler alert, it's a lot longer than you think, unless you are in a rocket. Let's start with the Moon, our closest destination in space, which is about 384,400 kilometers away. Walking at 5 km per hour would take over 8.75 years. And if you're driving at around 100 km per hour, it would take around 160 days to reach at the Moon. But if you're in a train, it would take around 64 days to reach at the Moon if the train is constantly traveling at 250 km per hour. And if you are deciding to flying at around 900 km per hour, it would take around 18 days to reach at the Moon.
2, 1. Lift off.
And if you are using a rocket like the Apollo mission, the journey would take just 3 days. Now let's head to the Sun. At 150 million kilometers, it's a long journey. Walking would take over 3,400 years. Driving at 100 kilometers per hour would take around 171 years. By train, it would take 68 years. Flying in a commercial jet would take 19 years. But with a rocket, you'd get there in about 4 months. Of course, you don't want to get too close. Now let's look at Mercury, the closest planet to the Sun. It's around 91.7 billion kilometers from Earth. Walking there would take about 2093 years. Driving at 100 km per hour would take 105 years. Taking a train would require 42 years. Flying would take 11 years. By rocket, the journey would take about 3 months. Venus, our neighboring planet, is about 261 million kilometers away on an average. Walking would take over 5,960 years. Driving at 100 km per hour would take over 299 years. By train, it would take 119 years. Flying would take 33 years. With a rocket, the journey would take about 4 months. Venus is close by in space terms, but still an incredibly long trip using everyday transport. Now next, heading to the Mars. The distance between Mars and Earth changes as both planets orbit the Sun. At its closest, Mars is around 54.6 million kilometers away. Walking there could take around 5,130 years. Driving at around 100 kilometers per hour would take around 57 years. And if you are traveling by train, it could take around 103 years. And if you are deciding to flying, it would take around 28 years to reach at the Mars. A rocket could take around 7 months to reach Mars. Can you imagine waiting 28 years for a plane to land on Mars? Rocket saves us a lot of time here. Jupiter, the biggest planet in our solar system, is about 778 million kilometers away from Earth. Walking there could take over 177,000 years. Driving at around 100 kilometers per hour would take you around 889 years. By train, the journey could last around 355 years. And if you are flying by a plane, it would take around 97 years. Even with a rocket, the trip would take around 2 years. Saturn, known for its stunning rings, is about 1.43 billion kilometers away from Earth. Walking could take around 326,000 years. Driving could take over 1,600 years. By train, it would take 654 years. Flying would take 177 years. By using a rocket, you could take the trip in about 4 years. Uranus is even further away, at 2.87 billion kilometers from Earth. Walking would take around 653,000 years. Driving at 100 kilometers per hour would take around 3,278 years. Taking a train would require around 1,311 years. Flying would take around 355 years. By rocket, you'd reach Uranus in about 8 years. Neptune, the farthest planet in our solar system, is about 4.5 billion kilometers from Earth. Walking there would take over 1 million years. Driving, it would take 5,134 years. By train, it would take over 2,000 years. And by flying, it would take around 499 years. Even the fastest rocket would take 12 years to reach Neptune. Thankfully, we have rockets. A rocket can reach Moon in 3 days, Mars in 7 months, and Neptune in 12 years. Without rockets, space travel would be practically impossible. So there you have it. Space beyond huge, and even with the fastest technology we have, the distances are mind-blowing. But it all starts here, on our small blue planet Earth.